Welcome back to the channel, trainers. My name is Oro Chris. I am your catching coach. I know it's been a while since the last set of uploads. There is an explanation. We'll get into that a little bit later in the video, but for now we've got the introduction, the start of Go Battle League. We have been waiting since, some of us, since the start of this game, others since the introduction of PvP, for there to be an online matchmaking system, something with which you don't have to, every time you want to have a battle, get on Discord, get on Slack, call your friends, try to find someone, beg them, plead with them, please, let's do a battle. Struggling to get your 3 battles done a day. We know it's been rough. But now we've got the Go Battle League going through the pre-season and starting into our first set of 5 battles. I think I've got them all recorded, but we'll work through them and see how we do. Now for our first set of videos, we've got the first set of 5. This was initially when it was the 5 kilometers. This was the free battles. You did not have to have walked the 5 kilometers at the start. I am running, as you saw very quickly, Vigoroth, Registeel, and Altaria. Initially going pretty hard on the meta picks, not knowing what to expect. Similarly showing off my shiny Vigoroth and met with a, of all things, shiny Lapras in the start. Of course, this is going to be a very strong matchup for Vigoroth. He's got access to counter, which is going to hit the ice type of Lapras, super effective, as well as that body slam spam that we all know and love. Now here, I'm not sure whether or not Vigoroth's going to take this hit well, so we're going to go for the shield. And right now, we've got a ton of energy built up, the counters are doing well, and we've got more than one body slam ready to go. Now, of course, body slam, getting that stab bonus because of Vigoroth being a normal type, it is one of the best leads in the game right now. Now here, I'm not worried about this. The fighting, or the ghost type, does doubly resist the fighting type fast move of Vigoroth, but the ghost type moves, he also, Vigoroth has the immunity to resistance too as well. So we're in an even playing field, and I've actually got access to a charge move that in the bulldoze that would not be doubly resisted. So I'm going to try to build up to that before the next shield we do get there, or next charge move of the opponent we do get there. And we let this go. Now I prefer personally, specifically for matchups just like this, to have Bulldoze over Brick Break. Having double fighting moves can be advantageous in certain situations, but for the most part, whatever you're going to hit for super effective damage with a Brick Break, you're going to be equally well off using ground type attacks, or have a better situation in a neutral matchup, for example, against a ghost opponent. So here, when you see Zapdos in the lead, or any of the legendary birds for that matter, in this first few battles, you know at this point, this is likely a trainer that has not been keeping up with the Great League PvP meta, so not too difficult, and we finish them off pretty handily. And we move into the second match. So we are going up against Radaung. With the green hair, Radaung. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And again, we've got another legendary bird. Now it's going to resist the fighting type moves of Vigoroth, but because it builds up energy so quickly with the body slam and it is stab, I'm going to go ahead and stick into this matchup. And also, hopefully, because they're using a legendary bird, I'm thinking they're going to shield early. And surprisingly, they didn't. Typically, less experienced trainers have a habit of over shielding, especially in the lead. Very often you'll draw 2 of their shields on the very first Pokemon for the first 2 sets of charge moves, regardless of how quickly it charged up. Even when a more experienced trainer would know that it's not going to, you're not going to have enough energy built up to do a powerful attack. So here they do shield the second attack. And we're building up to that body slam, so we've got that ready. We're able to get the knockout on the Moltres. And here, another Lapras, trying to get into that body slam before we go down by the, I think it's water gun damage. And also get off some more chip damage with the counters in the meantime, because it's, of course, super effective into the ice typing. And we do manage to get off a second body slam, which is great. If I were the opponent, I'd probably shield at this point. They decide not to, so we're now going into, and you'll see that timer there. One of the more annoying aspects of the new buddy system is the need to continuously maintain your friendship or your emotion status with your buddy. So I was setting timers every 30-35 minutes to go in and bury, play with, do whatever with the buddy, so that I maintained the excited state to get that half candy distance. So here we've got Breloom into Altaria. We've got one shield left. Nothing's really going to hit us for much damage. Sludge Bomb was the best that Breloom would have had to offer against a Altaria. But even with that, we catch a little bit of lag here potentially. But at this point, the match is basically over. And in these first, especially in the first days of the Go Battle League, as well as in the first few ranks, you will see a lot of research legendaries. The potentially we thought is, well, a legendary strong in raids. Why wouldn't it be strong at 14, 1500 CP? We'll probably get into that more in a later video, but for the most part, one of the major reasons is they often, a lot of the legendaries, except for potentially things like Registeel and Cresselia and a few others, a lot of the legendaries, at least the ones that have been in the research breakthroughs, often have a very high attack stat, and as a result, they don't weight as well in the Great League. They also often have, typically, like Moltres, the Raid Day exclusive was Sky Attack. That wasn't available in the Great League levels for the Research Breakthrough. So the more expensive moves, things like Fire Blast or Overheat, just take too long to get to in a Great League match. And as a result, those Pokemon typically aren't the most successful. So here we are in a bad matchup. It's got a tough lead. They've got a Hitmonchan, and this guy is just rocking. Now, I'm assuming it's some kind of either one of the the elemental punches or power-up punch. It is power-up punch. I didn't want to shield that, even though it was going to do super effective. But I'm afraid to swap out because I want to draw at least one shield before getting out, and now we're going to... I've got Altaria. Ice Punch wouldn't be the best thing, but worst case scenario, he's actually got the Charmer, and this thing is the Fairy type is just going to nuke my poor Altaria with the charm damage, as well as take immunity tier resistance to the Dragon Breath, which is a lot of where Altaria, and we try to get that. It would have been a closer match had I gotten off that second one. So here we're going to go in with Registeel, but I'm in a tough spot because Hitmonchan is going to be wrecking both of the Vigoroth as well as the Registeel. I really don't have much of an answer. My best answer was Altaria, but as you see, that went south when he swapped into Clefable. Potentially, had I just let Vigoroth go down, maybe I could have then at that point swapped in, or not swapped, but selected Altaria, promoted Altaria to the match, and then hope for him to swap out. But even then, there's just not much that I'm going to be able to do. And I'm probably not going to get these to use both of these shields because his power-up punches are just going to wreck with the counter damage. So here we'll get off one more, but bad lead. What are you going to do? My closest thing to a safe switch in this situation was, of course, Altaria. But if you've got a Charmer in the back, there's not much that you're going to be able to do at that point. So GG's to my opponent. Well played. So now we are 2-1 in our first set. So here, like the Hitmonchan, the Toxicroak is just absolutely going to wreck my poor Vigoroth. One, it's going to resist the fighting type damage from Vigoroth, as well as hit me for super effective damage as a normal type. So we swap into the only safe switch that we have, and that is one of the problems with this team that I came to find, was that both of them were weak, both of them being Vigoroth and Registeel, were similarly weak to fighting types. And as a result, having two Pokemon on the team that both had weakness to fighting, with one that often fighters are accompanied by something like a fairy type that are either going to hit opposing fighters or are going to hit the flying types or the dragons or the some of the more natural counters such as Altaria with super effective damage. So here we're going to try to build up a little bit extra energy and then unleash this flash cannon. Most of what, if not all of what, Wigglytuff's going to bring against a Registeel is not going to be very effective. Nonetheless, we want to have enough energy here in the back, or enough health rather in the back, to get to another charge move before Toxicroak, who likely may return. And surprisingly, we do not get the Toxicroak. We do see the flex of the shiny. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I looked. Fortress. I would have got there. Bug Steel. It's got Earthquake. I know it. All right, so we're going to use up our first shield of the match. Going to use Rock Tomb. That would have been not very effective. Nonetheless, we've got to build up or overstock energy in order to get through this Toxicroak that he's got in the back. We're going to unleash that. Now these lock-ons, one, don't do very much damage, but two, they're resisted by the steel typing of Fortress. So really, in any situation, it's virtually only the charge moves that are getting off any damage. So we're going to immediately swap, or at least try to. He does get off the attack, which is a bummer. I'm going to let this one go. Likely Mud Bomb. And then my only hope is to get off enough energy to get this Bulldoze, which would be super effective, obviously. So here we're going to shield. Probably another Mud Bomb. Does likely not have enough energy to get off two of those. Either case, a Mud Bomb alone would not have been enough. We do get to the Bulldoze and into the poison typing of Toxicroak. This is going to be super effective, and as frail as Toxicroak is, it is going to be more than enough to finish the match. So we do pull out that, and that will wrap up the video. Ultimately, we went 4 and 5 in that first set of Go Battle League battles. One of the battles was against a trainer that was not using the most optimized team, and it wasn't included in the video after I got through the editing process because I didn't think that you would gain much from watching it. But I do know that I still owe you the explanation for why there's not been any uploads or videos for a few months, and the reason for that is my wife and I, we welcomed our baby daughter Everly Emerson into the world in August, and during that time, with a newborn in the house, just learning a new family dynamic, sleepless nights, spending more time trying to build those memories together, something had to give, and that sadly was my time editing and participating with the channel. That also is one of the reasons that I've not participated much in the Sylph Arena this season. Initially, I tried to get started with Season 2, but with weekends tied up with family responsibilities and other things, going to tournaments in person was virtually impossible, and doing online tournaments with things like Go Battle with the Go Stadium was a bit of a band-aid, but ultimately it just was not working with my schedule. So I did take some time away from competitive Sylph Arena. Now that we have access to an online matchmaking system where you can do the battles on your time, at your leisure, around your schedule and anyone else's schedule in your house or family, this is what I've been waiting for. So we are back, and we're going to be looking through your best options to be moving up the ladder and making your way to rank 10. I'm going to be starting a Road to Rank 10 series and following the struggles and the changing meta, I'm sure, on each level of the Go Battle ranking system. So stay tuned.